The American Dream in 2025, Myth versus Reality. Is it still possible? Hello, and welcome to FactSpark, where we dive deep into the most compelling topics shaping our world. Today, we're tackling a concept that has defined generations and drawn millions to American shores: the American Dream. For generations, it's been the ultimate promise: work hard and you can achieve anything. But in 2025, is this dream still a reality, or has it become an elusive myth? We're diving deep to uncover the truth. The enduring myth, a beacon of hope. The American Dream, a phrase popularized in 1931, was originally about liberty, equality, and opportunity for all. It drew millions to U.S. shores, promising freedom and a chance to build a better life regardless of birth. Think of success stories like Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, or Thomas Peterffy of Interactive Brokers, immigrants who arrived with little and built empires. Today, while homeownership and material wealth still resonate, the dream is evolving. Younger generations are redefining success, prioritizing mental and physical health, financial stability, and a flexible work-life balance over traditional markers like marriage and children. Entrepreneurship, especially in the digital space, offers new avenues for purpose-driven success, with millions of new business applications filed in recent years. For many, America remains a beacon of opportunity. The unvarnished reality, barriers and disillusionment in 2025. But for many, the reality in 2025 is a stark contrast to the myth. The American middle class is shrinking. In 1971, 61% of Americans were middle class. By 2023, it was just 51%. Wealth is highly concentrated. The top 10% of households hold a staggering 67% of total wealth, while the bottom 50% collectively own only 2.5%. This inequality is deeply rooted, with Black and Hispanic families owning significantly less wealth compared to white families. Half of all working Americans earn less than $50,000 annually, with a quarter making under $25,000. It feels like the system is rigged. Inflation is the top financial concern for over half of Americans, with many saying their income isn't keeping pace. The annual inflation rate stood at 2.4% in May 2025. Grocery costs are up for the vast majority of Americans, along with utilities, gas, and housing. A significant percentage of adults say price changes worsened their financial situation, and many lack emergency savings, unable to cover even a small, unexpected expense. Homeownership, a cornerstone of the dream, is increasingly unattainable. Nearly 60% of U.S. households cannot afford a $300,000 home. For a median-priced new home, approximately 75% of households are priced out. Young people feel homeownership is completely out of the realm of possibility. Education, once a clear path to opportunity, now comes with a heavy burden. Total student loan debt hit $1.777 trillion in late 2024. Alarmingly, the student loan delinquency rate spiked dramatically in early 2025. This disproportionately affects first-generation students, many of whom carry student loans and worry about long-term financial impact, often compelled to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. The escalating cost of healthcare presents a formidable barrier to financial security. Health spending surged significantly in 2023, outpacing GDP growth for the first time since the pandemic. Medical debt is now a major financial concern, even surpassing personal education loans as a top source of debt for millennials. While average hourly earnings have increased, millions still struggle to keep pace with rising costs. Long-term economic shifts, automation, and offshoring have eroded living wage jobs, leaving many working hard but not getting by. The American Dream, often presented as universally accessible, confronts significant systemic barriers deeply rooted in race, class, and privilege. Systemic racism profoundly impedes the accessibility of the dream for people of color. Manifesting through persistent economic inequality, historical housing discrimination, and entrenched educational disparities. The concept of intersectionality further reveals how overlapping identities create compounded challenges. Consequently, individuals with lower socioeconomic status consistently express less belief that the American dream is personally achievable for them. Beyond the economic and systemic barriers, the relentless pursuit of the American dream is exacting a significant toll on mental health. A striking majority of young people concur that it is demonstrably harder for their generation to achieve happiness compared to previous generations. Mental health and financial struggles are identified as paramount concerns for young people, who express a strong desire for more realistic portrayals of these issues in media, moving away from glamorized, effortless lifestyles. This psychological burden extends into higher education, where college students are experiencing unprecedented mental health difficulties, particularly pronounced among low-income and first-generation students. Redefining the dream, new priorities and emerging visions. Faced with these realities, the American dream is being actively redefined, particularly influenced by younger generations. Their priorities have distinctly shifted, placing paramount importance on good mental and physical health, followed closely by financial stability. Traditional markers of success, such as owning a home, getting married, and having children, now rank significantly lower. Success is increasingly characterized by personal achievement, access to education, and social mobility, with a notable emphasis on safeguarding emotional bonds and values, even extending to unconventional legacies like pet care, rather than solely accumulating financial assets. There is a discernible cultural movement towards more sustainable and socially responsible lifestyles, which inherently challenges the traditional pursuit of material wealth and consumption. Interestingly, some Americans are actively looking beyond U.S. borders, driven by a belief that the new American dream is to leave. This sentiment is fueled by factors such as the rising cost of living, burdensome healthcare expenses, and an unpredictable economic and political outlook within the U.S. These individuals are discovering that other countries frequently offer lower living costs, more affordable housing, universal healthcare, and a superior work-life balance, characterized by longer vacation breaks and generous sick family leave, where personal identity is less defined by one's occupation. This global perspective challenges America's perceived exceptionalism as other nations become more attractive for talent and capital. Social media has emerged as the single most significant influence on how young people perceive the American dream, cited by many as more impactful than movies, TV shows, or news. These platforms are actively challenging traditional concepts of the American dream more effectively than conventional media. Young people are not only consuming these narratives but also demanding more realistic portrayals of financial struggles and mental health challenges in movies and TV shows, moving away from glamorized, effortless lifestyles. Pathways forward, reimagining and rebuilding the dream. So what's the path forward? It requires a fundamental shift from individual responsibility to comprehensive systemic reform. To tackle the housing supply crisis and enhance affordability, policymakers must implement regulatory and land use reforms, such as streamlining permit processes, fostering flexible zoning regulations, and utilizing land value capture mechanisms to fund affordable housing initiatives. Innovative financing and partnerships are crucial for bridging credit gaps for underserved populations. Furthermore, adopting construction and technological innovations can significantly improve efficiency and reduce costs. The focus must fundamentally shift to economic stability before mobility, acknowledging that individuals cannot effectively pursue long-term career pathways or wealth building if they are preoccupied with basic survival needs like making rent or affording groceries. This requires ensuring fair wages, reliable housing, access to affordable childcare, and safe communities as fundamental prerequisites for upward movement. Investing in place-based strategies is essential, as empirical evidence demonstrates that zip codes predict outcomes. employers are identified as potential mobility engines through offering genuine pathways for advancement via sector-based partnerships that align workforce training with real industry demand. Broader policy changes are also essential, including zoning reform, fair lending practices, universal pre-kindergarten, and strategic tax policy to enhance the American dream's accessibility for immigrants and leverage their contributions. Policies must expand and modernize employment-based visa programs to meet workforce demands and drive economic growth. This entails increasing visa caps, expanding existing employment visas, and recapturing unused visas to align with economic needs and attract top global talent. Supporting protective legislation is vital to protect undocumented individuals who have contributed to the nation. Additionally, improving immigration court efficiency, reducing the astonishing case backlog, and ensuring due process with access to legal representation are critical for a fair and orderly system. Financial literacy curriculum is crucial from an early age, equipping individuals with the knowledge to navigate complex financial landscapes. The evolving job market emphasizes continuous learning, adaptability, and skill development. Policy should also aim to improve healthcare quality, lower costs, and ensure decisions are made by doctors and patients, rather than by politicians or insurance company intermediaries. Addressing the ballooning national debt, which surpassed $36 trillion in 2024, is paramount, as interest payments crowd out essential public services. The emphasis on these systemic reforms rather than solely on individual effort represents a profound reorientation in how challenges to the American dream are understood and addressed. It indicates that foundational structures must be reformed to make the dream genuinely accessible, moving the discussion from individual failing to collective responsibility. Beyond federal policy, community-level initiatives and individual actions play a vital role in fostering inclusivity and opportunity. Community leaders and program designers must actively participate at the policy table, driving change rather than merely reacting to it. Crucially, solutions must be co-designed, co-led, and co-owned by the very people most impacted by economic immobility, ensuring their relevance and effectiveness. This approach acknowledges that economic opportunity cannot be divorced from social equity, mental health, and equitable access to essential services. Civic groups can contribute by sponsoring citizenship exams, study sessions, hosting bilingual events, or creating neighborhood support networks that pair newcomers with longtime residents. At an individual level, fostering meaningful conversations, encouraging citizens to think collectively rather than solely as individuals, and developing service programs that expose young people to diverse American work and life experiences can build empathy and understanding. Promoting government financial literacy among citizens is also key to enabling them to understand macro trends, discern realistic policies from political gimmicks, and support leaders who prioritize long-term stewardship over short-term gains. Ultimately, moving forward requires a more honest and open dialogue about the realities of America and its challenges. The American dream, while enduringly fueled by hope, operates in a changed global landscape that demands secure, transparent, and sophisticated channels for deploying capital and nurturing innovation. The future success of the nation and the dream within it hinges on prioritizing robust democracy, civil discourse, and global cooperation. The scale and interconnectedness of the challenges, deep income inequality, a pervasive housing crisis, crippling student debt, escalating healthcare costs, and entrenched systemic racism imply that transformative approaches are necessary. The future viability and inclusivity of the American dream depend on a willingness to innovate and adapt its very structure to contemporary realities, rather than clinging to outdated models or attempting to restore a past version that may no longer be relevant or attainable for many. This calls for a fundamental rethinking of the underlying assumptions, mechanisms, and pathways that define success and opportunity in America. In 2025, the American dream stands at a critical juncture. While the traditional myth, rooted in widespread material prosperity and homeownership, faces significant and undeniable challenges, the dream itself is not dead. Instead, it is undergoing a profound and necessary redefinition. This evolution is marked by a crucial shift in priorities, moving from purely material wealth to a more holistic vision encompassing well-being, personal fulfillment, and social impact. The analysis reveals that deep-seated systemic barriers, from widening economic inequality and an escalating cost of living to an unattainable housing market, crippling student debt, and entrenched racial disparities, require more than individual effort to overcome. These challenges necessitate a collective societal response. The path forward demands a fundamental reorientation from solely individual responsibility to comprehensive systemic reform. Policies must prioritize economic stability before mobility, recognizing that basic human needs like fair wages, reliable housing, and affordable healthcare are prerequisites for any meaningful upward movement. This integrated approach acknowledges that economic opportunity is intrinsically linked to social equity, mental health, and equitable access to essential services. Ultimately, the American dream can indeed be reignited and made more accessible, but it demands a profound commitment to equity, adaptability, and a collective willingness to confront uncomfortable truths for the benefit of current and future generations. Engaging in informed civil discourse, supporting policies that prioritize long-term stewardship, and co-creating inclusive solutions with those most impacted by economic immobility are essential steps toward building a more just and achievable dream for all.